In this video, I'm going to show how I install Eclipse for use in this class, and I recommend that you follow this procedure, although there are other procedures which are valid and can work for you. But if you're just starting out and you're not sure exactly what to do, you can follow along with what I show you. So I'll be installing this on Windows, but it's relatively easy and similar to install Eclipse on Linux and Macintosh as well, so that's not a big deal. So I've got some writing here, and you can read that, and then I give this link to the Eclipse website, and I recommend Eclipse IDE for Java developers, that particular distribution or packaging of Eclipse. So let's go ahead and go to this site, and let's try to find this. Download Eclipse. There we go. I'm going to click on that. And these are, they call them packages, right? So you could also call these distributions. And these are all different. They all contain different modules. But, you know, actually each one of these, you can add the missing modules to any one of these to include the functionality of any of the others. So Eclipse is really a single framework for building projects, and but it's very configurable. And so what the Eclipse Foundation does here through their website is to provide some of the basic packaging of some of the Eclipse modules, or what they call plugins or frameworks, based on what your ultimate aim is. If you want to be a J2EE developer, you might download this one, for instance. If you want to be I don't know, whatever, Spring Source tool, not sure that JavaScript web developer, you might try that. We're not going to be using this, although I'm not familiar with it, but that might be useful for our course. In fact, we may take a look at that as we go through the class. But I'm going to download this basic one here. It's Eclipse IDE for Java developers. And I'm on Windows 64-bit, so I'm going to go ahead and download that one. And let's see, how can I get this? There it goes. Looks like it's taking some time to come down. Okay, I paused that download. I didn't capture the whole thing on video, but here it is. I'm going to go to this download. I'm going to extract it. Let's see what's inside there. It just shows Eclipse. So what I'll do is I'll extract that here. And I'm going to move this out of the downloads folder. Here's the folder Eclipse. I'm just going to put that on my desktop, but you can put that anywhere. Just going to paste it down here. And basically that's it for the installation. It doesn't actually register itself in your system or anything like that. Just basically extract the archive and you're ready to go. There's the executable. I'm just going to go ahead and run that. But here's the tricky part here that I want you to pay attention to. That it provides a default path to what's called a workspace. And this workspace, it's a container of Eclipse projects. So as you use Eclipse, you're going to create several projects, and to build those projects, and you can have any number of workspaces. But each time you only open one workspace at a time. And when you open a workspace, you see a list of projects in there. So what I want you to do is actually put the workspace in your working copy of your repository. So I'm going to browse to that location, And mine's through the desktop, but you can get there in whatever way you get there. It's CSE 322. And there's the folder. Select the Workspace directory to use. And let's see, if I pick that, it doesn't quite go all the way, so I want to put a /workspace here. And so I'm going to go ahead and create that. I recommend against checking this. Use this as the default and do not ask again, because this locks you into that single workspace. And it's a bit of a pain to uncheck that. It's a little tricky, but so with that warning, I'm going to go ahead and create the workspace. So the welcome screen, you can of course go through that and read about these things. I'm just going to clear that. I'm going to write the hello program that we did in the last activity, the last assignment. I'm going to repeat that in this context. So we're inside the Eclipse IDE, and we're going to create a new project. So go File, New, Java Project, and we're going to call the project, we're going to call it Hello. It's the Hello project. All these kind of settings here. We're going to go with the defaults. Just going to hit OK on that. And there's the project. Like I said, this will be a list of projects as we go through the course. And if I expand this Hello project, I see there's a source file, and then there's this view of the system libraries, which you can look at. So the system libraries are organized into these jar files. Those are basically zip files that are named with a .jar extension. And they contain these folders, which contain Java bytecode files with Java bytecode in them. And you don't usually go in here, but this is a reference for you to look at. These are in fact all of the files that are packaged with the installation of Java that I'm using. So in this src file, I'm going to right click that, do New Class. I'm going to create a Java class. The class is going to be called Hello. Now, right now, we're using the default namespace here. Not the default, well, the empty namespace. And it's really a good idea to put everything inside of a namespace. So I'm going to do CSE 322. That'll be my namespace. Maybe I'll do .hello, which is kind of like the project name, Hello. And then there's a file in there called Hello. Now let's call it main. I'll call it main. I like that better because the main class has the main function in it. It's the superclass. That's fine. All classes in Java inherit directly or indirectly from the Java parent class. This is the only class that doesn't have a parent. And look at this. Which method stubs would you like to create? Public static void main. This is very convenient. I'm just going to click that and hit finish. And you'll see in this src folder, it has created a subfolder called CSE322.hello. That's in fact the package name. It looks like a path. The package looks like a path. The top level is CSE 322, the next level is Hello, and that usually corresponds to a folder hierarchy as well. So there's a main.java file that's inside of a folder called Hello, which is inside of a folder called CSE 322. I'm going to close these. I don't usually use those views, so I'm going to close those. And you can put comments in here, right? That's put in there. I'm going to leave that out. And I like to put the brace down like that, although it's not necessary. I'll take that comment out. Auto-generated method stub. It's going to clean that up. And here we have the public class main. It's declared within a package. And there's a single method in there called main. That would be the entry point for a normal Java application, a standalone Java application that runs by itself directly within the virtual machine. And normally Java programmers are not writing these things. Usually they write code that runs inside of a context like your Android operating system or the web container or a Java Bean container and so on. So I'm going to type in system.out.println. You can see there's a lot of helpers that pop up here. So I'm going to do just like that print, but actually it's print line. And we're going to say hi in there. So our second, I'm going to say hi too, just so I see that it's different than the other one I wrote. Save it. You see the asterisk there? This means it's not saved. I didn't actually click the save, so I'm going to make that asterisk go away here. Now I know it's saved. At this point I can run it. So I can actually right-click the project. I may be able to right-click in other areas as well. I'm going to just try the project. Right-click the project and do run as. I could do run as, or I could do debug as. With debug you can set breakpoints and look at, and examine the contents of variables. When you break the program, you can step through the program, and so on. So debugging is very convenient. So I'm just going to start by debugging. So I'm going to debug this project as a Java application. And I right-click that. Looks like there's Windows firewalls blocking something. And I'm going to allow the access there. Well, there it is, hi 2. This is in fact the console window. Just going to maximize that. There it is, shows it right there. And I can run it again. And let me just bring that back. Let's call it by2. Save it. By the way, it does continuous compilation, so I don't actually have to issue a compile command. If you look at this, build automatically is by default checked. So it does what's called continuous compilation. If I put in something that was not buildable, you'll see it's marked as the as having an error, syntax error. So you need to remove that. And once again, that asterisk there says it's not saved. You need to save that. And just double click on that tab. That's hi 2, so I'll run that here. by2. Now the thing about this is you could have many projects. You could actually have another main function in here somewhere, which would be confusing to the system. So we did this the easy way, we just right-click the project and said to run it. But actually what happened in the background is that a run configuration was created for this project. And you can have more than one run configuration for a given project. So I'm going to select on run configurations there. And you can see there's a run configuration that's called main. And this run configuration is the class that has the main function in it is given there. It's fully qualified. This is the package prefix with the class name. And this is the class with the main function that we want to run under this configuration. We can in fact create another run configuration. This is just for Java applications. See, here's we'll call this one hello 2. And let's call this one here hello. This is our hello 1 configuration. And actually there are, and then with this hello 2, as we browse to the project, we say, well, we only have one project, so we'll put that in there. The main class, we're telling the system to search through all the classes, find all the classes with static main methods that return a void and take a string array and list them for us. So there's only one, so that's the only one we could pick. So basically we create these run configurations, and so we could run these under different conditions. Let's see, I'm going to look up here and run again. I'm going to go into the run configurations again. There they are. And hello 1, as you can see, hello 1 here is somehow there must be some indication that this is run in a debug mode, and one could be run as is in release mode, but I don't see that setting right here, but it's probably in here somewhere, display. Anyway, that's for me to look at later on, but I can pick this second run configuration. I just click run there and I'm actually running it. There's my 2. So that's just sort of the overview of Eclipse. So we create projects. They don't have to be, there's different kinds of projects. We'll be creating Android projects later on. And but what we did was just created a simple Java project. Now I'm going to quit here. And I like to always exit without a prompt. And I'm going to go into my CSE 322 folder. And see, there's our workspace. In fact, the workspace has this .metadata file. This is information about the workspace. And then we have the project, the hello project. Each project gets its own folders. You could look in there. This hello project has got, you know, a .settings folder. This wasn't, you know, directly visible to us in the views that we were looking at. And there's these files here, this .class path file. You can actually examine these. You can actually examine these and see a little bit about what's going on. As you can see, this .class path file is in fact an XML file. That's typical of Eclipse and typical of Java development in general. They use a lot of XML for configuration. So we'll be seeing more of that later on. Then there's this SRC file. As you can see, there's the CSE 322. That's the first part of the package name. Hello, that's the second part of the package name. And then main.java, that's the class name. So remember, as I said earlier, that in fact that folder hierarchy corresponds directly to this package name. It's like a path name. And that's a requirement that packages and classes be stored using this type of hierarchy, following that pattern. Now there's a bin folder here. This was when the compiler compiles the Java source files that are in the SRC folder. The result is placed in the bin folder, and it follows the same hierarchy pattern. It's the source code. Actually, the source code doesn't need to be in that pattern, but the class files need to be in that hierarchy. So once again, the source code doesn't need to be organized in those hierarchy of folders that correspond to the class, to the package names, but the bytecode must be organized in that way. So here's java.class here. If we try to open this, I want to see open with something. I want to look at this. Open with, I'll just do open. Select a program. I'll just look at it inside Notepad here. As you can see, it's not a character file. It's got some character data in it, but it's got lots of non-displayable data in there. It doesn't correspond to renderable characters on the screen. So this is in fact a compiled a bytecode file. This file contains the virtual machine instructions that are loaded into the Java virtual machine when we run the virtual machine and execute this program. The virtual machine loads using something called a class loader, reads the contents of this file, places the virtual machine instructions into the virtual memory of the virtual machine, and then it's executed in the virtual machine. So that's how that's done. Now, just to wind up here, I'm going to go up to the top level, and I want to commit my work because I like to take a look at this and evaluate your work. So I want to see what you've been doing. And once again, we don't need this. I'll talk about that later. But here's the workspace, And in fact, what I better do is I am going to delete this. And I'm going to delete that as well. You won't see these. And what is this Java Hello class? I didn't commit that into the repository. That's not a big deal. I'm just going to delete that too. But here's the workspace and all of its contents. What I want to take everything that's in there. And so what I'll do is I'll select all. And let's write that into the repository. There it is. Now I can check out your work, I can build your program, see that you understand what's going on, and maybe if you're stuck I can also give you a hand by looking at your work quickly and easily by checking out of the repositories. That's very handy to use this version control system to work with other people. It's very convenient. Well, that's it.